Apple Vision Pro is now in its second year of life, a headset that in many ways is still the technological benchmark when it comes to display quality, materials and software. The web was flooded with reviews and previews at launch, but now, with its refresh featuring the M5 chip and a new headband, is it still worth talking about Apple headset? Let's find out together. First, a quick recap to set the context. AVP launched in February 2024 as a US-only product. I flew to New York like many other content creators, and today it is finally available in Europe as well. But for those who invested over $3,000 at launch, are they still using it daily, or is it just another headset sitting at home collecting dust? We also have to consider the typical Apple user scenario. People who own Vision Pro usually already have other devices at home, an iPad, an iPhone, several-handed console, and hopefully even some books. So where does AVP really fit, especially in considering that it's not a gaming-first device, but a general-purpose one? Over this month, new apps have arrived and new features have been added that I did not have the chance to test at launch. So consider this content as an update, a look at what is new and what I have personally been able to try from launch until today. As we all know, software is king, and no matter how expensive or refined a piece of technology is, without interesting software it immediately loses value. With that in mind, let's go through a selection of features, apps and experiences, some more important than others, that arrived on Vision Pro and see how they actually work. Since launch we have received a lot of apps, Marvel, Disney, sport, concept and so on. You have probably heard about What If, the Marvel Universe experience that sits somewhere between an interactive movie and a VR game. It is fully hand-tracked, and while the gameplay itself is forgettable, it still works as a clear example of the strong partnership between Disney and Apple, trying to create something entertaining beyond Disney+. Disney Plus itself is now available on MetaQuest, which is great, but it is a shame that it does not support 3D. And speaking of watching content, between the impressive environments designed from movies and the incredible panel quality, AVP never misses a chance to show its displays at its absolute best. You have surely seen those viral reels showing an F1 app on Apple Vision Pro, but that app was not real, or at least not in the way it was shown, because it was more of a concept. That say, there are real examples here that prove this kind of experience can absolutely work with headsets in general, Formula 1 for sure, and also other apps like golf matches, recreate courses in 3D and allow you to follow players' shots in an immersive way. Online you can find many real-world examples already. I'm not sure Formula 1 is the perfect sport for this format, maybe football or baseball would work better, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on with AVP.
By saying I'm not sure what kind of race car. Well, the answer is plenty fast enough, thank you very much. Just as fast as Lando Norris, if not a tenth or two a lap quicker.
Compared to 2 years ago, Vision Pro now is more complete and mature product, also thanks to the AI-driven features that transform photos and content into 3D, and of course spatial recordings. Gaussian Splatting on Apple Vision Pro is the technology that makes spatial memories feel much closer to real presence than to a simple video. When you record spatial photos or videos, the system captures not only the image but also depth and perspective, and visionOS then reprocesses this data into millions of tiny three-dimensional elements called splats, each with its own position and color in space. The result is not a traditional polygon-based reconstruction, but something closer to a sculpture of light, which comes to life when viewed through the lenses of Vision Pro. While watching, you can move your head, slightly change your point of view and explore the scene from different angles, perceiving volume and distance naturally, almost as if you were reliving that moment from inside instead of watching it on a flat screen. Moving away from memories and into more traditional media, let's talk about comics. Seeing comic panels right in front of your face is interesting, but unlike photos, I did not find anything that really uses AI to animate panels, make them stereoscopic or even make them speak. I did not find a truly interactive comics app yet, but it feels like a natural evolution we will eventually get. Another experience that surprised me was the Virtual Boy Emulator, which I actually find pleasant to use. Back in 1995, Nintendo tried to break dimensional barriers with a technological ambitious product that unfortunately was not appreciated by the public. On AVP, many different apps have arrived and it's hard to summarize them all, but the key point is that Vision Pro is essentially an extremely advanced tablet you wear on your face. This means you can create your own use cases simply by browsing flat apps, like finding guitar chords while playing an instrument and wearing the headset. Between transparent sheet music, floating notes and video tutorials, the possibilities for practicing an instrument while wearing a headset are real, and they helps a lot, but honestly we would still need a lighter device to comfortably do 2 hours of practice while wearing AVP. Going back to movies, the experience was already almost perfect at launch, and compared to my latest generation LG OLED TV, I often choose the headset because of the immersion and isolation you feel inside AVP. You focus more on the movie with fewer external distractions. If you do not own one of the latest generation TV like OLED, Deep Black and so on, AVP is obviously amazing, but if you do not have a TV, buy a good TV first before buying AVP. Some proper games have arrived as well. The most relevant one in the VR landscape is Demeo. Even though I personally would have preferred Demeo Battles, Resolution Games' title is one of the best ideas VR has ever delivered, both as a concept and as execution. The hand tracking is better than on MetaQuest, your hands with gloves feel great, the visuals are crystal clear, the optimization work is impressive, and it offered the best mixed reality version of these games to date. For me, it is a true technological benchmark for how I would like to see many other mixed reality games from the Meta Store arrive on Vision Pro. As with MetaQuest, a completely new set of use cases opens up when you connect Vision Pro to a PC. And here I'm not talking about a Mac, but about a gaming PC. One of the key enablers here was the native support for PlayStation VR2 controllers. Unexpectedly, Apple made Vision Pro compatible with Sony's controllers. From a technical perspective, visionOS recognizes PSVR2 controllers via Bluetooth and tracks their movement with high precision, including finger position and haptic feedback. For the user, this means being able to play a new class of spatial games on Vision Pro with traditional controls. Pickle Pro, a mixed reality pickleball game, works very well. The virtual racket follows your arm movement thanks to the controller, and feedback makes every hit feel more realistic. Still on gaming, since launch, some more technical users, myself included, have experimented with using Vision Pro as a PC VR headset, for example, to play Steam VR titles. The main solution here is ALVR, an open source wireless streaming app that arrived on the visionOS App Store already in summer 2024. Over time, ALVR has become much more stable and feature-rich on Vision Pro, adding automatic PC detection, room scale support, and even 100Hz refresh rate option on visionOS 2. Apple does not openly advertise this capability since it is a third-party solution, but the fact that the apps exist on the App Store shows how the VR community is actively filling gaps for enthusiast users. From ALVR, you can also move to Moonlight, which is simply used to stream your PC monitor. As I have mentioned for other devices, from Switch to Portal, we live in the era of multitasking. The idea of playing something light and not demanding while sitting on the couch, maybe while watching something else or even during a video call, is always appealing. Moonlight works very well in a home optimized for local streaming. Controller monitors or keyboard pairing is solid, and while pass-through still does not let you clearly see a real TV in the living room, having a high-quality OLED virtual display anchored in your space is impressive and forms a foundation for many of the things we want to do in VR, especially when you can invite someone and show them what you're playing. Among all apps and quality of life improvements, the biggest update since launch is clearly visionOS 26 itself, and at this point we have to talk about persistent spatial widgets. Finally, widgets leave the screen and become part of the environment. With visionOS 26 you can anchor clocks, weather panels, music controls or photo galleries directly to the walls or furniture in real space, and they stay there even if you move, walk around or restart the device. Vision Pro remembers where you left everything, so every time you put on the headset, those elements are exactly where you placed them. This makes the virtual environment feel deeply integrated with the physical space, with widgets that now feel like a part of the digital furniture of your home. You have seen it everywhere, but another major improvement compared to launch concerns personas. With visionOS 26, Apple has significantly improved their realism and natural look, with better hair and eyelashes, more realistic skin tones, and much more expressive face and head movements. Thanks to the volumetric rendering, machine learning and Gaussian Splatting techniques, avatars now feel more familiar and less uncanny. Along with the M5 refresh, Apple also introduced a new dual kit band, compatible with the M2 model as well. It uses double soft and breathable fabric straps, and for those who upgraded to M5, the jump from M2 is significant. The M5 features a 10-core CPU and, more importantly, a 10-core GPU with hardware ray tracing, allowing the headset to handle advanced graphic and realistic lighting in real time. Some 3D demos and games with reflections and transparency now run more smoothly and with better detail, showing that developers are starting to take advantage of hardware ray tracing. M5 also brings native AV1 video decoding, a very efficient next-generation codec used by YouTube, Netflix and others for 8K and HDR content, allowing high-quality streaming with lower battery consumption. On top of that, Apple claims up to twice the performance in AI workloads and support for refresh rates up to 120 Hz, which for now is limited but clearly prepares the device for much smoother VR content in the future. Apple has also opened Vision Pro to third-party spatial accessories, starting with Logitech Muse, the first 3D digital stylus designed for the headset, integrated directly into visionOS 26. Muse allows precise drawing, writing and interaction in 3D space with pressure sensitivity and haptic feedback that simulate writing or painting in the air. One of the most striking features for first-time users remains the environments. With visionOS 26, Apple added new ones, and the most impressive is the Jupiter environment, where you feel like standing on one of Jupiter's moons, with the gas giant dominating the sky and the animated rotation that lets you admire its massive storms. For users deeply invested in the Apple ecosystem, visionOS now acts as a real bridge with iOS device. You can unlock your iPhone and see its screens while wearing Vision Pro, even inside full immersive experiences, making it easy to reply to messages or check notifications without removing the headset. The last feature I really want to highlight is shared spatial anchors, or co-located shared experiences. In simple terms, this allows multiple users in the same room to see the same virtual object in the same real-world position. visionOS 26 allows two Vision Pro headsets to synchronize in real time, making experiences like watching a movie together feel natural, with a perfectly aligned shared virtual screen. In games and interactive apps, each user sees the other as an avatar, and thanks to invisible spatial anchoring, the virtual and real worlds align perfectly for everyone involved. Reaching the end of the video, it is impossible to deny how much effort Apple has put month after month into refining this headset. From some perspective, it was already excellent at launch, while from others, there is still room for improvement. For example, PSVR 2 controller support feels a bit improvised and would benefit from native controllers designed specifically for Vision Pro, and I would also like to see more iPad games like Resident Evil playable natively inside the headset, especially considering the power of the M5. Overall, Vision Pro can still amaze from certain angles, but from others there is clearly still a long road ahead.
11 hours overnight between Friday to Saturday.
He's used to endurance stints.
Well, this is true. You know, Le Mans winner and World Sports Car Champion, of course. So, yeah, he certainly put in a stint there, and it's paid dividends. Verstappen's